Hi, everyone. My name is Mikhail Krupnov. I'm head of the Big Data Department in the Department of Transport in Moscow. Perhaps my presentation will be the least hardcore. It will probably belong to the area of curious trivia. I will just tell you how we work in the Transport Department with big data, disclose how we create digital products and what value it brings to the city. We have two major missions in the Innovation Center. Firstly, we try using our services, digital services, to improve the quality of service of people, residents of the city, and also to make transport for them more secure. And the next big task is to offer analytical support at the level of city development and the city planning. The city is developing very fast, and I'll tell you how we impact this process, how the data move us forwards, create new insights, helping us make decisions on what to do next. The Innovation Center is actually quite a large team of people. We have several departments that run their own tracks, but one way or the other we try to organize their work synergistically. And here you end up with this system of the Innovation Center. At the core, there's a big data team that actually plays the role of a core to create digital products. And around all them, we have developers, we have guys who do design, we have guys who do consulting, modeling, simulation, and all taken together, this makes up quite a good team, so that we could create new products. It's actually quite an exciting story, because we're not really talking about some commercial enterprise development. This work is done within a government organization. And from my experience, I can say that perhaps it's the only viable structure where you have a complete vertical or stack of product development, starting from strategic and consultant's idea over to bringing data to it, developing a service design, and then develop other further development iterations. So one would think, and I actually have an impression that it's only in this kind of an environment the whole process of creating viable digital products can be realized. We have quite a large repository, data repository, and when I was preparing this presentation, the model was suggesting that I offer a variety of facts to make the presentation livelier. So, for instance, if you store it all on disks, you'll get like a TV tower as high as the Stankino TV tower. But perhaps this is not the most interesting thing. The important thing is that any action that you make moving about the city generates data based on which we're making decisions. This includes everything to do with transport, the underground, the metro, the Moscow speed rink, Moscow high-speed diameter, bicycles, car sharing, speed bikes. Everything builds a foundation, generating data which you can use. Why do we need that? As I said, our city is developing very fast. And if you roll back a few years and remember how it looked about 10 years ago, first association that we get when we name the month of December is, of course, a complete transport collapse. About 10 years ago, in December, we were experiencing about half the month where the traffic jams were at the level of 10 out of 10. Now, in 2022, we only had 1 day at a 10-point traffic jam. And then you have a question. A city is a very sophisticated system, and there are a lot of factors that have an impact. And all these data help us answer a question. Is it us who are working in the right direction, or there are some other objective facts about the development of the economy of the city, how people use the public transit, what consumption habits they have? I think it's difficult to deny the fact that the role of delivery and couriers have changed the transport behavior of people and made a big contribution. But nevertheless, with the help of data, we don't only look at the prospects, assessing whether the decisions made have been successful or not, but we're now arriving at a level where we can, using our data, take better decisions in terms of modeling, simulating the future development of the city. I can describe it on an example of one of our products that we're preparing for launch as we speak. We have a lot of construction projects going on in Moscow. And for each such site, you need to make a conclusion. And for instance, if we build several 80-story office buildings here in Kamovniko, what is going to happen to this area? So based on the data of the traffic loads or how people move about areas in their home locations, and potentially, as an example, Kamovniki, where these office centers will be built. How many parking locations are available? We can make a conclusion that at certain portions of the road networks, the utilization will grow from, let's say, 7 to 9 points out of 10, and the parking requirements would be such that will not be feasible in this area. So therefore, we will have to draft recommendations. So if we start a project like that, the consequences will be like that. This is already working. People are using this now. And this helps improving the transport situation in the city and improve the life in the city as well. Let me share some more details about how we organize the operation of the team inside the company. So quite often, big discussions are going on how a big data team should be structured, whether this team should be spread across business units, so that something should be done within business units, or it should be a team that is organized separately. So in our case, we have something like a hybrid structure. We have 4, so within this department, we have 4 teams: analysts, engineers, systems analysts, and the team that maintains the infrastructure involving systems administrators, DBAs, DevOps, and support professionals. So what's the idea? There's a constant demand for support and improvement of our data repository repository or a data platform, and depending on the project workload at a given point in time, we vary the number of people in the core team and the people contributing to these cross-functional project teams. Because on the whole, when we're creating some product, we focus in the first place on synergy, on teamwork between our departments. And as a rule, we take one analyst and one engineer from the big data team, but we also make sure to take a person responsible for designing this project. We always have a project manager and a product manager, and also guys who build the entire back end if it's about an application, and also the front-end part. So we pick the product team from all teams, and they start working. They're all quite deeply involved in the internal processes of the department, and therefore, if a need arises to carry through the core team, they're quite deeply involved in this whole thing and are able to interact and accelerate the creation of the product. They asked me, the organizer also asked me to explain how long it takes to create a new data product in our case. Actually, I tried to look it up from the past experience and from what we're doing now. It strongly depends on the input parameters, on what you have. It can take from 3 weeks to perhaps 10 to 12 weeks. In the first place, it depends on whether data is already available for this product. Maybe some components have been used in the previous projects and they can be reused, and you can put this whole thing together as in a construction kit. How difficult it is to interact with other systems in terms of security. These questions provide a very strong impact on the speed of development. If everything's fine, so it takes 4 to 6 weeks. If it's not so good, then up to several months. And of course, in the center of every product lies the idea, the challenge that we want, the problem that we want to solve. Then we try to see how the solution of this problem fits into the strategic approach, the strategy of how we develop the environment. Quite often, even before the creation of the MPV version or even the architectural proof of concept, we do a design or pre-design of the product in order to understand how the users will interact. I mean, the graphic, the UI, how the users will interact it, whether they may like it or not. And just to understand if the whole idea has any visual way of expressing itself. And then we go to the development stage, create an MVP, a demo, and then decide what's going to happen with this product next. If it does solve some problems, and if it does it well, okay, maybe it will even stay as some kind of an MVP solution and will be used by support. Or maybe some other features will be added to it. Maybe it will be combined with some other products and they will be tackling some more sophisticated requirements. Okay, what else would I like to talk about? Current trends. Well, these trends are perhaps not the industry trends that companies like Gartner are writing about. It's more about the trends that we see within what we're doing, within the transport department, within the innovation center. In the first place, I must say that the demand for data as such is perhaps not as high as before. Well, people are interested in products that can consume these data in the first place, rather than just a collection of data. So it's not a purpose in itself. So the real products, that's something that evokes interest. Internal products and data as a service. This is a separate story. Perhaps it's related to the fact that we see an internal enlargement of the organization and the processes get more sophisticated. So if in the past we had internal teams that were improving the solutions for themselves, now there's more and more demand at the level of the whole organization, so the data and services should be offered within the corporation as services available to other teams. There's a big demand for video analytics and computer vision. Perhaps we work to a lesser degree with language models. So far, the gamut of problems, of areas where we can apply them are quite limited. But video analytics and computer vision is something in very high demand that allows closing very large gaps in the city data quite cheaply at that. The cameras that run in full HD, they can be put anywhere in the city, are quite cheap, and you can cover a lot of needs using them. For instance, a separate track for us is the guys are creating video analytics for the river transport. So you need to control or keep an eye on the number of people, monitor the number of people at wharfs and quayside. You need to have video analytics and observation tools to monitor the arrival and departure of boats. For instance, certain parts of the city, like the Gorky Park, where the boats are going, GPS doesn't work very well, so they are unable to send the coordinates of their location properly, and so the arrival forecasts can deviate from the real situation. This information comes in quite handy. Now, development of intelligent network systems. This is something about road management, intelligence, traffic lights, adaptive traffic lights, street traffic management. This is basically a huge, I don't even know how to call it. It's a whole area, it's a whole domain where a lot of efforts will be applied in the next 2 or 3 years, and I'm sure you'll see an improvement on the roads and the results of this activity. Interaction with external services. We have spent quite a lot of time living with our data just inside, not sharing it with anyone. Yes, of course, there's a project of open data run by the government of Moscow, but it's not exactly what companies would like to see. For instance, taxi and car sharing and scooter operators. And we're gradually making steps to provide a usable platform to interact with these services. And this year, already, we're going to see this interaction started. We're prepared to share our data so that rovers could, have a better experience driving across the city, and other people as well. And the last, but not least, thing in importance, it's about the reliability of geo-reserving. This is an objective process that's caused by the fact that our services that we create, they, 3 or 4 years ago, we wrote most of them mostly for ourselves, so that we could prepare some exciting presentation. But now we see that apart from the city dwellers, leaders and managers of city services are using so the demand for the availability of high SLA metrics is as high as, is higher than any time in the past. And by creating additional geo-reservation system is going to develop as an area. So that's all I wanted to say. I'm prepared to take your questions, to share something else related to the public transit in our city. Well, the time is pressing, but there's a time for a couple of questions. Colleagues.
Добрый день, спасибо за доклад.
Good morning, thank you for your attention.
Вы храните историю и как много по объемам
What's the depth of history storage and how much resources does it take? Depending on the source, different kinds of data have a different history start point. The deepest data, as far as I remember, have been stored since 2017, and now this number is moving closer to petabytes. I mean, in total. Colleagues, more questions? On the right, there's one on the right. Thank you for your presentation. My question is, where do you store so much data? You mean the storage systems, storage technologies? No, the location of storage. Well, our big data cluster of the Innovation Center is a hardware and software complex deployed in racks. It's not yet a cloud-based solution. It's a set of servers, just pieces of hardware, and we maintain and service them ourselves. And in the close future, along with solving the geo-reservation efforts, we are thinking about, expanding through the use of cloud resources. I think it's a relevant way to go. Do you have your data center? Well, it's not our own data center. We have a collocation in one of the Telecom data centers, but we would like to have a cloud in addition to that. So racks based on Telecom data center, yes. So these are storage systems, but at the core, these are servers with disks, Hadoop worker, basically. The database is built on Hadoop HDFS. Colleagues, we can take one more question if you have it. So, right in the middle.
Добрый день. Насколько у вас вообще стоит
Hello.
сохранение конфиденциальности?
How important do you believe the question of confidentiality to be? Is the data mostly depersonalized? Not mostly. The data, all of the data is depersonalized, even though we collect transaction-based data about everything that happens in the city. Every metro ride, every taxi session, every scooter session, we get this information in a depersonalized personalized way. We're not interested in handling personal data. This is not important for our tasks. What we're interested in is global fundamental trends that roll out in the city. Regarding the confidentiality, yes, that's an important question. So for this reason, we have a secure technology contour. All the servers belong to ourselves. And right now, we are in discussions together with our colleagues how it can be implemented in the cloud.
Whether it corresponds to the security requirements. But yes, this is a good question. Well, let's give a round of applause to Michael for his interesting presentation. Okay, so and let's present a book to somebody who asked the best question. I will always give a present to somebody who asked me about personal data.